from January 19th, 2012 at 2 p.m.
I have one comment on under business agenda, item number 5, bullet point number 9. It's a quote from me or a reference from me that actually the last line should have actually been a question. I think it's just written out as a statement.
Okay. Any other comments? Anybody like to move the item?
I move to approve the minutes as corrected.
Okay.
I second it.
Okay.
Commissioner Zever?
Yes.
Terhovenessian?
Yes.
Gregorian?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Chairperson Keilanian?
Yes.
Item 3, introductions and presentations. At 3A Keppel Toll Hoover Block Party, presented by Paula Nelson, Administrator of Glendale Unified School District.
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me come and speak to you. I don't have a whole lot to prepared to say, but in front of you, I think you have a flyer that is advertising our Hoover Toll Keppel Block Party. I came to you earlier this fall and showed you some pictures from that event. It will be taking place on March 31st, and I wanted to let the Commission know, as well as the community know, that this is a really wonderful opportunity to bring your kids out. There'll be a lot of booths and games and food and student performances and student artwork for sale, including ceramics and watercolors and paintings. It is a celebration of all arts, visual and performing, and it is one of our proudest events in Glendale. It's the 3rd annual. Last year we had over 2,000 families come to enjoy the block party. So I would like to invite the Commission out to enjoy the block party on March 31st, and I wanted to take the opportunity to let you know in advance that this is happening, and as well as the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
It's great. Looking forward to it.
If I can add some more, we had a conversation with Laura Paula about the event, and there is a possibility for the Commission to become a co-sponsor for the next year's event. This year we didn't have enough time to plan for all the details, but the kids, the young students will need your support, and I think it will be a good idea for next year, the Commission to get involved more closely with this event.
I have a suggestion in that regard. If there is a possibility, if there could be a short clip prepared from this year's event, so we could also show it here and make the community see a sample of the work that the kids do. And meanwhile, that would be a nice segue for next year's participation, so people would know.
Thank you. That's a great suggestion, and I will return after the block party to your meeting that will probably take place in April. And show you the results of our block party. It's a great idea. Thank you.
Just to be clear, the block party is going to be on Glenwood Road between... Can you just give us the exact location, please? I mean, for the public also to see.
Yes, between Concord and Virginia. The streets are shut down. That street, Glenwood Road, is shut down, and there's a barrier on either end. And so it is walking traffic only for that entire day.
That's basically where Hoover, Toll, and Mark Keppel schools are, right?
Correct.
Just that section of the Glenwood Road dividing these schools.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Commission may question the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. Staff may refer the matter for investigation and report.
Okay. First speaker is Annette Kurelian.
Good afternoon. I'm here to, first of all, thank you for the opportunity given to us and to me to represent our nonprofit organization and the event that we have planned for this Sunday, February 19th. just very briefly, Armenia School Foundation is a nonprofit organization. We basically have a very clear and simple mission, and that is to refurnish furniture to schools in remote villages of Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh. And we've been established in Glendale since 2003, and since the inception of Armenia School Foundation, or ASF briefly, we have been able to reach out to many schools and provide over 12,000 desk and chair sets to students in various areas of Armenia. As part of our main event and main fundraiser, we have created this art exhibition, which will happen this Sunday at the Armenian Society of Los Angeles, which is on Louis in Glendale. And we would like to invite you, the panel of commissioners, and also the community to come and enjoy this event. It is an art exhibition. It is free for all to attend. And what's unique about it is that we have gathered together 12 artists that will be displaying their work, both in the painting and photography media. So I think it's going to be a fabulous event. It's from 3 to 6 p.m., and as I mentioned, it's free for the public to attend. I would also like to thank all of our community supporters and our friends who have helped us sponsor this event. So you're all welcome to come.
I have a question. How does it work? Like, the artists are going to give the proceed of what they are going to sell?
We've had this event before, but in a smaller scale. This year it was unprecedented amount of people that wanted to join in. So all artists are going to display about 4 to 5 pieces of their work, and 50% of the sales will go to our organization.
That's wonderful. And checking the list of the artists, they're phenomenal. I have seen their work in friends' houses, and I've always envied.
Well, you should come, because I think that it's a wonderful opportunity to just come and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not forced to purchase, but if it happens that you would like to purchase an item, then it would be benefiting us.
Absolutely. I'll be there, for sure.
I have to also, as you can see on your flyers, we have a list of all the artists, but we also have 2 additional artists that joined us, but there wasn't enough time to mention their names, which are Armine Hovanesyan and Armine Havan. So,
What was the second artist?
Armine Havan.
Havan.
Yes. So I would like to also invite you to go to our website, armeniaschoolfoundation.org, and you could see the quality of our work and all the school projects that we've been able to accomplish since 2003.
It's a very worthy cause. Besides the artists and the work, these schools in the villages, really, they are in a dire need of the supplies and the chairs and the furniture for the youngsters.
Yes, they are.
I visited, and I felt very sad to see in what kind of a situation they are, and I'm very proud that you guys are helping.
We're also involved with the second phase of our work, because all those furnitures that were supplied throughout the earlier years, we need to refurnish them again. And we were very excited because we are starting to collaborate with different schools and other different nonprofit organizations that together can reach out and help these kids and the school regions.
Another question. If there are schools that they are remodeling, they are getting new furniture for their classrooms, is there a way that we could arrange with you guys to send it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And what's very noble about our cause is that the furniture is not basically prefabricated here. We just allocate the funds, and we also give the opportunity to citizens of Armenia to work and to put these pieces together. So we're creating a boost in their economy as well.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you.
So we would like to invite you all to come. Hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you.
Commissioner Guerrero.
And thank you for this opportunity.
I concur with my colleague about the quality of these artists, and if my colleagues on the dais remember, we discussed about the LA Art Show last meeting, and at least two of the members who are participating in your show were presented at the LA International Art Show, Vahe Berberian and Sam Saga, who are absolutely amazing artists. And in addition to them, I can see from the list many other artists who are internationally known and have won awards and all of that. And that's a very, very good selection of artists.
Yes. And Vahe Berberian was present during our very first event. He's very, very busy. As you know, he's a multi-talented artist, Vahe Berberian. But he willingly put this team together for us. And I also have to say that it's a very big event to put together with minimal amount of funding. And our ASF's really thankful to business owners in Glendale who have helped us sponsor this event. Such as Carousel Restaurant, Santorini Restaurant, Mauro Barzunian's law firm, and so on and so forth. So without their support, we won't be able to pull this off.
My question is, did you have a theme or some kind of a criteria for these artists to participate, or how do they present? I mean, most of these artists have a real good variety of work, like Ara Oshagan, like Levon Parian, like all the other ones, Ara Mazunian. Do you have a criteria, or is just open?
We have a wonderful committee worker who's not part of ASF board, Mrs. Aida Babajanian, who's very much involved with all these artists. And so she put together this panel because in the past we've worked with some of them and it's been very, very successful. Also, they worked well together. So it wasn't based on a criteria that we placed upon them. It was just something that Mrs. Babajanian and Vahe Berberian talking to each other put forward, which brings enough variety. Yes, you do have the photography media and also the paintings. But I think what they were looking for is to choose artists who, first of all, are willing to give from their time and effort, and they're going to be present, so the public will have a chance to meet them and view their work and have an opportunity to communicate with them. But also, they have worked well together before, so artistically there wasn't such criteria. This is the very first time that we're putting this show together. And hopefully, if it's successful enough, we'll have similar events planned. But I'm going to personally, being a teacher and an educator, I'm going to ask for a junior art exposition so that our kids can participate.
That's a fabulous idea. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to definitely be there. And if I don't get there, some of my friends on this list are going to probably kill me. But the jokes aside, I think it's if the public participation is correct, I think this is going to be a big success because you really have gathered very good artists in there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm
Hope
looking
to
forward to
see
seeing
all.
you there.
Thank you, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
And just to remind you, talking to Ms. Babajanian, she was saying that, Commissioner Grigorian, that the idea this time was not a theme or a thematic presentation, it was a variety,
Yes.
showing the capabilities and possibilities and something specific about each one of these artists. So they wanted to have a
Yeah.
presentation of a big
Yeah, as I said, there wasn't a set criteria. It was just basically a group of artists that had the time and the willingness to put together their show and come forward and work together. But I think that we'll have enough variety over there, so it's meant to please all kinds of tastes. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next card I have is Chuck Wyke.
Thank you. Chairman Kevanian, and commissioners and city staff. It's nice to be back here with the commission. I'm going to run through a number of programs and tell a couple of stories maybe you haven't heard before from the library. First of all, that little icon, you can find that on the web. If you have any kind of a smartphone or an iPad, you can look up in your apps folders and just get this free Overdrive app. And with that, you can borrow books from the library. There's also music, but all kinds of things. You download them right to your device, read them, they go away in 3 weeks. You don't have to worry about overdue items. But it's a real nice system. It works well. We've got some other things coming up that I hope to come back and tell you about that will even supplement that and give you more and more books to look at. Here's a children's program. Not one we usually do. It was for preschool kids. And one of our commissioners here just happened to be in the Central Library that morning, but the kid on the left is really, they didn't teach him how to do that. I think he just came ready to rock out. It was a nice little program, and that's the age of the kids. It was a band that does a program centered around books and reading, but with original music. Really good band. They travel around the West Coast, and they came and entertained. Tonight, February 16th, we have a local author, Denise Hamilton. She's a best-selling fiction writer, writes mysteries mostly. She'll be at the Central Library at 7 o'clock tonight. Another program you might want to put on your calendar, Stephen Ross is a USC professor of history. He's twice nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, and he's coming on February 22nd at 7 p.m. His book, Hollywood, Left and Right, How Movie Stars Shaped American Politics. He's got some insight, and again, I believe this book was also just nominated for a Pulitzer. On March 3rd, we're going to have a talk about, often called the father of the serigraph, Guy McCoy. He literally was one of the originators of the silk screening process. Alan Linnemeyer is going to talk about him, and Alan worked with him beginning in 1970. So he's got a real good insight into this type of art. That's Saturday, March 3rd at 3:30. That event will be the last public event at the Brand Library and Art Center until we reopen. So, I believe you have our renovation project timeline. It gives you quite a bit of detail. But the big dates, of course, March 3rd, we close to the public. We're going to try and get all of our books and CDs and videos and everything back the week before. And then we're going to take a little bit of time, organize it, reorganize it, ship it, box it, and then set it up at the Central Library. And we will reopen much of the Brand collection, but certainly not all, at the Central Library on May 1st. So I hope you can all come. I keep telling them we should have a little party there. It's going to be hectic. Both staff at Brand and at the Central Library have worked to cull and weed the books and materials. What do we not need? What do we have extra copies of? Not just at Brand, but at Central, because we've got to move. Well, they have about 100,000 items at Brand Library. They're not bringing them all, but they're bringing a lot. 35,000 of those items are CDs. So I don't think we're getting all of those, but I am really anxious to see that collection down at the Central Library. And then we will reopen in early 2014. I believe you've seen some of the renovation plans, a central access, better ADA access in the back, but it'll really be a striking entrance. We're looking forward to that. Now the library is, because we're doing all this weeding, I've seen the pictures. There literally are furniture, tables, bookcases, the oddest things. Miscellaneous furniture is the best I could call it. There's some art prints, there's donated books, CDs, even LPs. You still have your 33 1/3 LP. Yeah, okay, some of you do. So we have two sales coming up, March 31 and April 7th. Those are both Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, the staff will be working up there right up and moving the books and things down, and then we'll reopen on May 1st. But this is going to be a big deal. We're really excited to get this move going so they can get working. Right?
Chuck, I would like to say that we need to invite all those who are collectors in the community to come to those sales, because there are some items that they might not seem very interesting to individuals at the present time, as you said, even the LPs, but those who are collectors, they would find valuable stuff in the collections that you're going to have for the public to buy.
The pictures I saw included cups and saucers. I didn't know quite what to make of them. I don't know who donated them, but there are some interesting pieces there that you might want to check out.
Are there going to be any original art pieces?
Yes, I believe there's prints. Maybe not, but they're prints. Some of them you may have seen at previous sales up at the Brand Library. I think some of that material is still available.
Commissioner Deaver?
I just want to say that I was at the Central Library when that band was happening, and it was just very cool to see that kind of thing happening at our Central Library with the kids. They were so enthused, and it's a terrific way of building our readers of books in the future through music and through art. And I continue to be impressed by the programming that comes out of the library and the multifacetedness of the different programming. So I just want to just say thank you for all of that. Thank you for letting us know about the programs and the public to know about them, because it's diverse and interesting and really interesting books and authors that you're able to bring in here. And I'm hoping that the public's taking advantage of all of that. And also just to thank staff, because I know that there's just a lot going on right now with the renovations and the changing over, making sure that all of those great materials at the Brown Library are continuing to be available over this next year. And I just wanted to say thank you for all of that.
It's really nice. Thank you. I'll share that with our staff.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
The next speaker is Elizabeth Gregorian.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Gregorian. I am the Armenian Outreach Coordinator for the Glendale Public Library. First, I would like to thank Chair Commissioner Arman Keivanian and fellow commissioners and the staff for the opportunity to speak to you today. It's with a great pleasure that I'm here. City of Glendale is known by its culturally diverse community. The library strives to offer services to the entire community by providing materials and services to communities with different cultural backgrounds. My responsibility as an Armenian Outreach Coordinator are to expand the Armenian adult book collection, including the regular Armenian collection and our special genocide collection, and to organize and instruct computer classes for non-English speaking Armenian patrons, and to organize Armenian events at the library in English and Armenian languages. The Armenian regular book collection has increased from 1,000 titles in 2006 to almost 9,000 titles in 2012, with a high circulation status. Our special genocide collection titles include a large collection of genocide literature covering Armenian genocide, Holocaust, and Darfur. The collection serves as a research material and is greatly utilized by the student at different educational levels. Armenian language computer workshops are scheduled 4 times a year with duration of 4 weeks. The classes covers Microsoft Word, how to create email addresses and internet access. I have also prepared a reference booklet for participants in English and Armenian. The students use the booklet during and after they complete the course. Since 2008, the library has sponsored over 40 programs for the Armenian community in English and Armenian languages. The program covers a wide diversity, including educational programs, poetry reading, screening films, presentation of historical slideshows, and panel discussions. The events elevated the level of the community awareness and businesses. On Sunday, March 11, 2012, the Glendale Public Library is sponsoring another important event. Our guest, Dr. Haik Demoyan, is the director of Armenian Genocide Museum Institute in Yerevan. He will lecture on recent publication on the Armenian genocide and collections of newly discovered documents and works on the Cilicia massacre of 1909. The mission of the museum is both to promote the collection of visual textual materials related to the daily life of Western Armenians in the Ottoman Empire before and during the genocide, and to develop more effective cooperation and collaboration among organizations worldwide involved in the research of genocide, particularly the Armenian genocide. This lecture is co-sponsored by the Armenian Genocide Museum Institute in Yerevan, the Ararat Eskijian Museum, and the National Association for Armenian Studies and Research. For more information on our upcoming events, please visit us at www.facebook.com/GlendalePL or our library site, www.glendalepubliclibrary.org. We also provide children's program for our Armenian-speaking community. Our 2 Armenian children's librarians, Christine Margosian and Arpine Eloyan, present popular story time in Armenian for toddlers and children ages 1 to 10. Arpine Eloyan does programs at the Children's Room in Central Library and Adams Square, and Christine Margosian at the Pacific Park branch. These programs include stories in Armenian, children's songs, and flannel board stories with cultural elements. In March, there will be 2 story times in Armenian. One on, that's the website, on Saturday, March 3rd at 10:30 at the Pacific Park Library, taught story time for ages 1 to 4. And the second will be on Wednesday, March 7, 2012, at 5 p.m. at Glendale Central Library, Children's Room, family story time for ages 4 and older. For children upcoming events, please visit our website at www.glendalepubliclibrary.org/cr home.asp. That's all. I'm sorry it was too long, probably.
Elizabeth, I would like to personally thank you and Central Library for providing those programs. If you want to have our community participate in cultural events, it's major that for those who don't speak the language originally, to feel at home that they connect with the Central Library, they do come, because they do bring their kids, and kids usually learn the language much faster, so they get into the English books and etc. But meanwhile, the parents or the grandparents who might not be that fluent in English language, they find home in Central Library as well. And to be able to educate the community, it's very important to touch the diverse background of the people who reside in the community. And I do believe that the efforts of both libraries, to begin with Brandon Central, and especially with Central Library, who has put a special effort, being in the heart of Glendale, to accommodate all these different programs to make the kids feel that they should be part of the reading, part of the participating in the community events, and linking and connecting to our new culture and the home that they have decided to live and adopt. Thank you very much. It's a great job.
Thank you.
I want to echo those thoughts. I mean, what you're doing is amazing as well, and the outreach and the programs. And I'm just tossing this out here for maybe future discussion, but I would be interested with the work that you do, and I know your interest in the arts as well, what type of collaborative opportunities there might be for the Commission to work with some of the programming that you do so that we can help to bring our community together in many different faceted ways. And I'm just kind of tossing that out there for the future.
Sure, I like that.
I do believe that would help if they would come and present. Now, you gave a little history and background of the different material that you do and the work, but if each time you could make the time and effort to come to our commission, and if there is any special event ahead of time to let us know and let the community know. And then, as Commissioner Deaver said, if there is anything specific that you think that we could be of support, to let us know, because we would love to collaborate.
Commissioner Rand?
Ms. Gregorian, I really have to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. I really appreciate the very hard work that you are doing. It's an excellent job.
Thank you.
I've known you for years, and I know how hard you work for the library and for the community. And most of the programs that you have put forward has been absolutely outstanding. So I really, really appreciate that. I need to have a little question, actually.
Sure.
You are the coordinator for the Armenian language and the affairs at the Armenian community. Does your work also include somehow to interchange and exchange information between for the non-Armenian speakers about the Armenian culture and issues? Since it is very important to create a community harmony by different cultures and ethnic groups to know each other. My question is, does your work also include that?
Our events. Yes, because we have some of our events are in English language, most of them, I can tell. And
What is the participation of non-Armenians in
exactly, there are. We do have participants from different cultural backgrounds. Like sometimes we have Koreans who are like interested in the subject matter, and they come in. Like today, I got a phone call from somebody who was complaining that why we don't have this program, which is in Armenian, in English, or somebody to translate, because he was very much interested to know about Armenian genocide. And he wanted to be there to hear, to see what Dr. Demoyan is going to say. So I just told, I haven't called him back because he hasn't left any numbers for me to call. But we do. And if they come, somebody will help them to translate if they would like to hear. But this time we have it in Armenian. But most of the time we have our programs in English.
Yes,
So,
could I add on to you, Elizabeth? Most of the lectures that they have, presentations in the form of famous people coming and talking, Armenian or non-Armenian, they're in English. So non-Armenian community could come and learn about the Armenian culture and history and events in English language. Those specific programs that they help the community people to get involved with the city central library. They do basically in Armenian. And also, Glendale Unified School District has always cooperated with the program, because whenever, for any such community event, they invite translators who come with those special equipments that, they are not intrusive, because you put the thing in your ear and you could hear in all the different languages. If there is a request, they usually put the request through the Glendale Unified, and it's being translated for them regardless of the language spoken.
So basically, my question is answered, and I appreciate that. And again, I cannot have enough words to thank you for very hard and good job that you are doing. And of course, I know you are just part of the library, and the library is doing an outstanding job on this.
Thank you.
I have
Thank you.
a quick question, is because I do receive your emails that are in English, and is there through the website that you've provided, is there a place for people to sign up to receive the email updates of the events that are happening if they are not already receiving those?
What we are planning, not planning, we're going to do it. We have our own Facebook, which is a great thing to have. And we're going to put the events on our Facebook. So that will be the place. And if it's hard for them to get the address right now, all they can do is to go www.glendalepubliclibrary.org, and then here, there is the Facebook. They can click on and they can open to the Facebook and they can see the programs in there. And we would love to hear comments. We would love to see somebody will write, okay, when this is going to happen, what is the upcoming events that are going to be, what is that you guys are up to. It's good to hear from community, and we are providing those tools for the community to be able to connect. So I hope they're going to connect to us soon. Yeah.
As a funny side note, when I say Miss Gregorian, it's kind of a special meaning because Miss Gregorian actually was my preschool teacher. So just as vivacious as ever.
Did she give you grades? Good grades?
No, they didn't grade us back then.
Okay.
There were no grades.
No, there was
but,
no grade. Yeah.
You're just as vivacious as ever, and again, the programming is great. And,
Thank you.
Ms. Gregorian, I hope you have disciplined him enough.
Can you not tell?
Thank you, Arma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The next card I have is Arsine McCurchen.
Good afternoon. My name is Arsine McCurchen, and I'm here today to introduce our art gallery, McCurchen Art Gallery, and also to announce our upcoming exhibition, which is going to be held on February 25th, next Saturday at 7 p.m., or 6 p.m. actually, 6 until 10. First of all, I would like to introduce and just briefly tell the history of our art gallery. McCurchen Art Gallery was founded in 1991, and it is the first private art gallery in Yerevan, Armenia. Since its foundation, it has organized several exhibitions both in Armenia and abroad, in such countries as Lebanon, Cyprus, Belgium, Russia, France, many exhibitions in the United States of America. In 2002, our art gallery was awarded a Quality Crown Award by the 16th International Convention of Art, and a quotation by the President of the Convention of Art, this gallery is the President of the fine art quality. In 2011, in January of 2011, our gallery was happy to announce the opening of our branch in Glendale on Maryland Avenue with the great support and assistance of the City of Glendale and of the Commission, and particularly of Razmi Grigorian, who helped us to negotiate sign a very beneficial lease for our gallery, and to have the opportunity to have the gallery on this wonderful avenue, on Maryland Avenue, which is, according to me, is just smells artistic and art. During this 1 year period, we had several exhibitions, around like 9 to 10 individual and thematic exhibitions. And as you see, we had several guests from the City of Glendale, different officials. Almost all the staff of the Commission was present at all our exhibitions. And also, if you see, the mayor of the city was also present during our individual exhibition of Henry Elibekian. And I would also like to thank you, Ms. Friedman, for her very warm speech about our gallery. And we were also awarded certificate of commitment and contribution to art by the California Assemblyman Mike Guerra's office on December of 2011. So hopefully we did our best to represent ourselves and to make as many exhibitions as possible during the 1 year period. And the main goal of our art gallery is to combine and to bring together art lovers and art creators together, and to push people not only to appreciate and love art, but also to be a part of it and to be involved in it. We also have different plans for the future, which is, of course, a different discussion and a different topic for another discussion about upcoming events, about different festivals, and also we'd like to promote students, teachers, and our youth to participate and to involve art in their everyday lives. even people from different professions, be it doctors, office clerks, any people should include in their life art. And I think if you include art in your life, it gives you a different sense. It makes you to dream, think, and sense in a different way, and it just gives you more colorful ideas and thoughts, and just keeps you outside of the box of the routine lives. So I think art is very, very important to include our routine lives, and hopefully there will be one day when, for most people, visiting art museums, art galleries, art exhibitions will be as routine as just visiting stores, restaurants, and entertainer facilities. This is briefly about our gallery, and I would also like to take the opportunity and to invite everyone to our upcoming exhibition, which is going to be held on February 25th again, this next Saturday at 6 p.m. This is going to be an individual exhibition of Victor Vartanyan, which is a very unique artist. This is one of his works. He is very unique in the sense that he combined smithery with art, and during this exhibition you will see in the exposition very unique pieces of art, assemblages from different musical instruments, his oil paintings, his installations, metallurgical works, and statues. And very briefly, just I would like to highlight the major artistic projects that include Vartan Ohanyan's works are candle holders for the altar at the Cathedral of Holy Echmiadzin, candle holders for the first and second floors of the Veharan, the official residence of the Catholicos, chandeliers for the Rossiya movie theater, tasting hall for the Cognac distillery in Yerevan, monument on Komitas Street in Yerevan in honor of the 15th anniversary of the Armenian organization, decorative gates of the museum at Tsar Arapat Memorial, transformation of the Church of Seven into a museum, front decorative windows for the Surpsarki Church in Yerevan, meeting hall and chandelier for the Club of Journalists, chandelier for the Architectural Institute of Leningrad, and main entrance and windows of the People's Museum in Yerevan. So he was honored to have all his contribution to all that above mentioned installations and different types of architectural structures. This is it. So thank you for having the opportunity of speaking up, of introducing our art gallery, and hope to see everyone from the Commission, from the city, and from the community again on February 25th, Saturday, at our gallery, which is located at 117 North Maryland Avenue in Glendale between Broadway and Wilson. Thank you.
Comments, questions?
Well done job, very nicely presented. Maryland is a great location. As you said, hopefully people would come not only for the food, they'll come for the stores that they are offering spiritual food, which is the artwork. With the plans on the Maryland Walk, I'm sure there's going to be much more transaction in that area. And meanwhile, just a reminder that usually when commissioners do come to events, this is for the public, that we are not only representing ourselves, we are representing the councilmen who have appointed us, so we are the representation by our presentation. So, and it was wonderful, the last one that we were there, especially with the art piece that was, they had a raffle. It wasn't that wonderful to have, a beautiful artwork for people who were there. You get the number, and one of the people who was participating, the visitors, they got a beautiful artwork from the gallery. So thank you very much for promoting art and trying to have different, and great food and presentation and a nice crowd. So thank you for all the work that you guys are doing there.
Thank you.
You're embellishing our city much more. Thank you.
Thank you. And one more thing, if you let me. Our gallery was opened as an Armenian classical art gallery, but I would like to mention that we are not going to concentrate on Armenian art only, and right now we are working on expanding our exposition to American and to European art. We're going to work with various local artists, and right now we're cooperating with some of the American artists as well.
Sounds great.
Commissioner Gorgan?
As you mentioned, I've been involved with your gallery a long time, and not only as a friend and as a patron, but also as an art collector and as a client. And I think your gallery is doing really an outstanding job in these very, very difficult times. I've seen some of the exhibitions, I've seen all the exhibitions that you've had in the past, and I'm looking forward to this new one coming up, because I have seen the pre-exhibition stuff, and while you were hanging the stuff up there, and it's really totally different. It's very interesting, and the artist is absolutely outstanding. So I have only congratulations and congratulatory words for you. And I know that the market is tough out there, the economy is tough, but the fact that you are surviving and getting better and better every day shows the quality of the work that you are giving to the public. So I'm just wishing you all the best for this and the future exhibitions that I know you have several in pipeline, and I'm just hoping that this one will also be very successful. And I really highly recommend everybody to go and see the works that you are going to start exhibiting on February 25th, because they are absolutely outstanding. Excellent.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your warm words. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for coming. Michael Sheehan.
Michael?
Oh, I'm hard of hearing.
Michael Sheehan to the microphone.
I have to make a comment about your relationship with your teacher. 20 years after I had been in kindergarten, I had long hair and a beard, and I was doing theater in Colorado, and my kindergarten teacher came up. And I introduced myself to her because she was now here instead of here. And she remembered me. I can't imagine why. And so you've done each other a great service here, and so I just wanted to applaud that. I think that's really it's the most wonderful thing I've heard so far. My name is Michael Sheehan, and I had a meeting in January with Commissioner Deaver and Ripsme to discuss the gas station that stands in the Adams Square Mini Park. And it's been my goal, as some of you may recall, to make the gas station into a gallery. And I was so pleased to hear from Mr. Duran in our meeting that it's been the city's goal all along to make it into an art gallery. Unfortunately, all that it's had in it for the past almost 4 years is a few balloons that I put in there in 2008 and some other stuff, and mostly now these banners that the city has been generous enough to donate to hang in the gas station. But it's my goal to encourage the city to really administer the gas station as an art gallery. And so I proposed to the city and through Ripsme that for the July 4th holiday, I would like to recruit something over 500 artists in Glendale to create individual words that would represent the patriotic writings of the United States. And I'll be responsible for all of this cardboard, and then hopefully I'll be able to recruit a whole bunch of people, including yourselves, to do one individual word from the Pledge of Allegiance, the preamble to the Constitution, the Star-Spangled Banner, America the Beautiful, and other patriotic writings. And then install these words individually, hanging in the windows of the what I now call the gas station art gallery. And if you support this, and I'm amazed to hear all of these other people that are sort of aligned with me in different ways. Hopefully, I'll recruit them to participate too. And then sometime in the middle of June, if I get the go-ahead from Ripsme and the city, we'll install somehow these pieces of cardboard. I haven't figured out how yet. And then have a party or something on the 4th of July where people can come and see the art. And so even though this hasn't gotten a green light yet, my request is that you take this into consideration, pledge yourselves in your hearts to create a word, and hopefully I'll be able to come up with a way to stick all of these words together like a ransom note inside the gas station gallery. The end.
Commissioner Deaver.
I want to thank you for bringing your creativity and your time to the city. Certainly, having art in public places is something that is close to my heart, and I expect to many on the dais here and in this city. And I know that there are sometimes frustrations with regard to policies and such in city procedure that needs to happen before sometimes the creative works can happen in the public venue. So thank you for your patience with that and for working with us through this. And I hope that come July that we will have some very fun community activity and artwork in our gas station in the park.
Thank you, Terry. My patience has tried a lot in other aspects of my life as well. Does anybody else have a question?
It seems a great idea. Just wanted to know that those little cards are going to be facing towards the street so people who walk around would see, or which direction would those little cards would be?
Well, I haven't gotten this all worked out yet. As you may know, the windows in the gas station are different sizes. And so figuring out a way to standardize these pieces of my garage is now full of cardboard. To standardize the cardboards and figure out a way to recruit the schools and other folks in Glendale who are in the arts, and hopefully recruit the library to help too. The answer to your question is, I don't know.
Mrs. Sheehan, you're in the right place on the right day, because Dr. Nielsen, who's sitting here, I don't know if you know her, she is the lady who is in charge of the art programs at the Glendale Unified School District, and most probably in collaboration she could arrange for the high school youngsters to come and help you out with the installation.
What a great idea. Thank you.
So right time, right place, it seems it was meant to be.
Well, if all goes well, I'll figure out how to do this. And the answer to your question is, ideally, I mentioned just sticking the pieces of cardboard up with tape in the windows, and Ripsmay pointed out that some of the pieces might fall off, and to which I said, well, that would be part of the art. But I've also thought about figuring out a way to maybe sew the pieces together in such a way that they would then hang from each other like a curtain.
Like a banner.
And then I've forgotten the inside of the gas station has battens or something that those banners are hanging from. But that's not going to be a problem. I have a way of, I made these last night, and so I have a way of figuring things out.
Sounds great. Great job.
Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioner Gregorian?
Mr. Sheehan,
Sir.
I like the idea very much. I think it's especially if it's somehow combined with the 4th of July weekend or the day event, and if it's patriotic, I really love that. But it needs, what you are proposing probably needs some kind of a work plan, and some kind of clearances from the city, because if it's a city facility, we obviously have to go through all the paperwork and the bureaucratic issues in there. Have you worked anything out, or are you going?
I'm premature here, and I've kind of surprised Terry and Ripsmay by showing up. I just wanted for you guys to know that this is something I care very much about, and I'm willing to devote all of my time and energy to. And even though I don't have the go-ahead yet, and there's a caveat to it, and you should know about this, I want to do my project and have the city promise that they will have a project to follow up in the gas station. Because it's been almost 4 years since I was told, well, we have a policy that will be organized soon for art in the gas station and in other public places. And they're still working on it. But one of the things that I hope for is, I want to do my thing very much, but I want for the city to pledge that they're interested enough in our Adams Hill area and the gas station that they will figure out a way to put something else in after I take my thing out, which would probably be in August if we get the go-ahead.
Well, obviously the security and the safety of the place for the arts, and against vandalism and theft and all the other issues should be also a consideration that the city has. Maybe that's what they are working on. I don't know. But for this particular event on July, so this is just an idea that you are throwing at us, and you hope that somehow we will do what?
May I interject, actually? I just wanted to note, because I've been a little bit of part of this dialogue, that I do know that Mr. Sheehan is working with staff with regard, and so these discussions have at least begun and are hopefully continuing. So I just wanted to interject there.
And I also should credit you with the idea of tying I just want to put something else besides those banners in the gas station. And so, thanks to Terry's input, I came up with an idea of a holiday, which the one that was closest for what I wanted to do was the 4th of July. But that's your creativity, Terry, and I appreciate
I pass it back to staff, actually.
So as long as you have this idea and you are working with staff to hopefully a positive and fruitful end, I have I'm happy, and I think the idea of 4th of July is just excellent, and I would love to be supportive personally, and I'm sure my colleagues at the DICE will also feel the same. So if you continue your work with the staff, and whenever the staff has the time, they will give us the
we'll give you an easy
they will
version.
agendize the issue, and we'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Just to give you some update, we have been meeting, we had several meetings with the city attorney's office and risk management and with the artist, and we've been considering his proposal of doing installation in the gas station. Michael Sheehan sent us the proposal. Right now, where I am missing, Michael, is the materials and the approximate value of your project.
Okay, I sent you an email the other day that said that how you put value on art is very subjective, and because you've run an art gallery in the past, I'd hope that you would come up with an idea.
I know it's subjective, but you
I have no way to put a value on this art except that the cardboard is free, the energy is individual energy that I put. If you want to put, in my life, I've made thousands of dollars in an hour, and I've made no dollars in an hour.
The reason we need that information, Michael, is
I have no way to. I can't give you the information.
Insurance
Excuse me.
evaluation.
Can we? This is not really conducive to the topic at hand. So what we'll do is we'll work with staff and we'll take your proposal into consideration. We'll see if we can work something out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sheehan.
Mrs. Sheehan,
Be waiting for that.
I wanted to personally thank you again for sticking your neck out, even years back, by putting in the balloons and the other things. I was here when that all went through, and I know you went through a lot of things to get where you are. And I appreciate it again that you are willing to stick your neck out and to pursue further, to have a good showing in a place that's been restored, and I really appreciate your efforts to help us pursue to utilize the gas station. I mean, I would see it just being a simple thing there if there was no artwork, nothing else involved in there. It would just be itself. Now that you want us to brand it as a gallery type, I really commend your efforts.
Stephen, thank you very much. They say that the only way a turtle gets ahead is by sticking his neck out. And he moves rather slowly, but eventually something may get done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I like that thought, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Could I ask our attorney, Mr. Grant, is there a way, this is general, not because of this specific situation, like there wouldn't be an issue of how much it's worth, just there would be a disclaimer or something that the work that is being presented so later on does not cause problems? Is there a possibility, or is there such a thing in your, whatever you're doing?
Chair Kavanian and Commissioners, in our meetings we have met with our risk manager, and we do have a concern. We don't want the art to be vandalized or destroyed. So as Ripsame was discussing, yes, art is hard to value, but we do want to do that so we could properly, have insurance in place, whether the city gets it on behalf of Mr. Sheehan or Mr. Sheehan provides it, because again, if there's going to be multiple artists, we don't want it destroyed. So we are working out these issues, and I can tell you from the two meetings, they've actually been very good, and it is moving forward. Okay. And so I think that this probably will happen.
Yeah, this is not only for the gas station, which is a historic place, and all the Glendalians have a special feeling for that gas station and that area. The Adams Square brings a lot of memories to lots of Glendalians in the city. Now, but this is generally speaking for any presentation or any location that is part of the city. And if any exhibition is going to be put in place, if there is a kind of a letter or formal form that the person who wants to do the exhibit would say that there's no claim if anything is lost or stolen, is there such a thing or possibility, or it's out of question?
Well, we can look at it. I mean, certainly, an artist, can sign that, they will not make a claim against the city. But I do know, and I want to speak out of hand for Mr. Duran, he did mention to you that in a couple of months he will present to you a policy for displaying art in the park and other park facilities. And again, I know that RIPSMA, we have another parks member, and our risk manager, and I'm involved with it with Mr. Duran, and we're trying to resolve, these issues. Imagine there's other ones. There's issues of costs and liability, and also, making sure that the art is safe. Are all these considerations which we are working out.
I just want to say I really appreciate that. I want to thank you and all the staff who are working on that, because recently I have received many emails in that regards, and they were asking to see if they could expedite the procedure, because it's a long time that it has been on the agenda. And I know that you guys are working very hard, but it's not that simple. It seems simple from outside, but it's not. So hopefully you'll put everything together so we would be able to serve the community much better.
And we're working towards that goal. And I believe that in a month or so, maybe the next meeting or the meeting after, we will be able to at least present a draft of policy for display of art in the parks.
Sounds great. Thank you.
If I may, Mike. Teresa Alexandrian, Administrative Analyst with Community Services and Parks. Just wanted to add that, yes, we are working on the general temporary art display policy for all the parks facilities, which is the next phase of the student art display that the commission approved. And we are down to working out the insurance and liability issues. But Mr. Duran did want to allow a display at the gas station separate from all the other facilities, because that facility was, as part of the construction, was thought to be for art display. And so therefore we were willing to make an exception for that specific facility. Otherwise, this would also have to wait till we had a general policy in place. So we hope to have a draft policy for your review and comment within the next 2 months. So if not, I don't want to say next month at the next meeting, but I'm going to try really hard with RIPSMA to bring something to you for the next commission meeting. So
that is much appreciated, and I think it was a very wise decision to make sure that to make the gas station a part of the rest and allow them to have it sooner. That's great. So we are impatiently waiting to hear from you guys, because that's what community is also waiting to listen to from us.
Definitely. We are looking forward to working with them. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments about the item? Next item, please.
Item 5, business agenda at 5A, action items at 1, selection of Glendale winner of Bob Hope Airport Tower Banner Competition.
Finally, we'll go to our business agenda.
So we are voting, huh?
Well, since the Commission is familiar with this project, I will just give you a brief background of the project and then invite Ms. Paula Nelson to do the presentation of the top 3 entries from Glendale Unified School District. This year, again, Bob Hope Airport Authority sponsors the competition, Tower Banner Competition, where Burbank, Glendale, and Pasadena high school students are invited to participate. The Arts and Culture Commission from each respective city evaluates and selects the top 3 entries, the winner of their city, and then the winning artwork is turned into a large banner, 17 by 26 size, and displayed on the tower, airport terminal tower for approximately 3 months. Ms. Paula Nelson will share with you, make the presentation of the 3 top entries of the Glendale Unified School District, and you know the protocol. She already has numbered the pictures. You will go ahead and start ranking each as you decide. And please, Paula, if you like to talk about the theme of this year's project and any other questions if you have about this year's competition, then she'll be answering them for you.
All right. Well, hello again. Thank you for doing this. I know you've done this for the last, I think this is the 5th year of this competition. And it's really a great opportunity for our students. As a matter of fact, I think the Glendale art piece is currently, it may have just gotten taken down, but the winner that you selected last year is currently up there on the tower right now, and it was actually just a perfect piece for the holiday season because it was a plane being pulled by flying horses. So it really was a striking piece, and I commend your artistic eyes for selecting that piece. So calling upon you again to select our first, second, and third place winner. We have narrowed it down to 3 of our top pieces. We did get quite a few submissions, and so a couple of weeks ago we held a competition at the district level with a couple of our design teachers and myself to select the top 3 to present to you. The theme this year is Cleared for Takeoff. Cleared for takeoff. And just to point out that one of the things that you want to pay attention to for the artwork is whether or not it is suitable for an outdoor display venue that is as large as the Burbank Tower banner is. It's a pretty large piece of work, and you basically see it as you drive into the Burbank Airport, and so the artwork needs to be almost instantly recognizable in terms of its theme and its idea. But at the same time, we were looking for bold creations with lots of color that are, again, instantly viewable as you drive into the airport. So here are the 3 selections, and I believe last year you received these pieces, I think, electronically along with the rubric. So I think at this point, there they are, look at that. So I think at this point what we want to do is have you give your final number 1, number 2, number 3 selection, who should be first, second, or third, based on the criteria that you've already looked at and examined. And we'll go ahead, I guess, and keep a tally and select our winners. Before you do that, do you have any questions about the artwork or the process? Okay.
We're veterans at this.
I know. It's my first time. All right. So, Commissioner, do you want to begin?
I guess so. I'm going to give the first place vote to number 3, second place to number 2, and third to number 1.
Thank you. I guess, shall we go to the...
Let's go from Gregorian. On the other.
Okay, Commissioner Gregorian.
Thank you. I actually love all the 3 pieces. They each somewhat present the theme and the idea behind it. I personally agree with my colleague, Chairman Kevanian, about number 3. That is definitely my first choice, and the reason is I see that kid also flying, dreaming to fly, having this non-committed, the free range ideas to fly, and not only just physically, but also with ideas and renovation and all of that. And I truly think that it just talks to me about that, the kid with the airplane. And I love all these white birds flying around, which I'm hoping that they don't. I'm not a bird expert, but if they are white pigeons, obviously they are symbols of peace. and I love that also. And the ties on the little tie on that little railing, which kind of frees the kid of all the restrictions and all that. So that work struck me so much that I couldn't even talk about the other. That was for me the first number one, and for number two, for me it's a tie between 1 and 2 because they're also very good work. But the one that is outstanding is number 3. So number 3 is 1, and the other 2 get a tie second for me.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Deaver?
I went through all of the scoring and will just make the comment that they were very closely scored for me. I actually give my number 1 is number 2, and my number 2 is number 1, and my number 3 is number 3.
All right, thank you. Commissioner?
Well, I like all the work, and I'm sure they have put a lot of effort. There is a lot of artistic value and effort and sophistication in number 2. But as far as the theme goes, that means just by looking at it, I could get the idea of get-go. My number 1 is number 1, number 3 is number 2, and number 2 is number 3.
Okay, Commissioner Lee.
I like it with words. I would have liked it. It would have been.
Commissioner Lee, your mic is off.
Oh, sorry about that. I said number 3 is very good. The only thing for me, cleared for takeoff means, getting the go-ahead, the green light to go. And in number 1, the thumbs up really, really represented. But the artwork, it's good, but a little bit too simplified. And I would have preferred the birds to be in it, and it would have made it, I think, the perfect choice. But now number 2 is the most dramatic. It has a lot of depth into the picture, into the artwork. But clear for takeoff is not quite there, but it's there. So my choice would be 1 is 1, 2 is 2, and 3 is 3.
Right. Do we have a clear winner?
1, 2.
This is also the most complicated thing that we do.
Usually we do agree with each other. This one was quite different.
Yeah.
Number 1 and 3 are actually tied.
Number 1 and number 3 are tied. Okay.
So maybe we can have a second vote between
We're
the
going to
two?
have to, I think. I think so. Okay, think about it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go backwards.
Clear for takeoff.
And that's because
Let's start with Commissioner Lee.
I'd still go with number 1. 'Cause
Okay.
it gives the thumbs up, ready to go, and you're ready, cleared for takeoff.
I go with number 1.
Okay.
Gregorian?
They're taking turns, so it's your...
Well, he wants to be the last one, right?
We'll just
the chair
go.
has the privilege. The chair has the privilege.
It makes it more exciting that way. No, I'm kidding. I'll go with number 3.
Okay.
Number 1.
Okay.
I guess despite my vote for number 3, number 1 wins.
All right, so we've got number 1 for first place?
Yes.
yes.
And let me introduce to you, that is from Iris Kim from Crescenta Valley High School, and it's entitled Thumbs Up.
Well, congratulations, Iris.
From which school again?
Crescenta Valley High School. And then, what was number 2, ladies?
Second place is
This
3.
one? Okay, so second place. And this actually was, let me tell you a little bit, this is one of our first collaborations. So this was actually a collaboration of 2 students at Crescenta Valley High School, and it is actually digital media. So it's a 21st century piece. It's pretty cool. So congratulations to those 2 young men, Andy and Edward. And finally, the third place is a new destination that was created by Bryant Santamaria from Hoover High School.
Commissioner Deaver?
I just wanted to, I have actually two comments I want to make. One is that I was at the Burbank Airport recently and was thrilled to see the artwork up there because I hadn't seen it yet. It was stunning to be able to witness that. And also, since my fellow commissioners have expressed more detail in their selections, and since I had selected number 2 as number 1 originally, I did want to commend the artist there in particular for the detail and the work and the coloring and the shadowing. I think that there's a ton of control and the humor with that as well. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you very much. Our students are going to be, I think, very pleased either way that they have been selected and that you've viewed their work. I'm sure they're going to be honored. So thank you very much for making the selection. And the timeline on this is I will submit our first, second, and I will actually submit our first place winner to the Airport Authority, and they will have a ceremony and a reception for the winner of the artwork, and then they will choose between Burbank, Glendale, and Pasadena. So go Glendale! The winner of the artwork for the overall competition. But all of these students are winners, I feel. So thank you very, very much.
They absolutely are, and the quality of work for their student and the theme is very high. So I commend them all and congratulate them all. And even if they got the second or third place on this dice, that doesn't mean their quality of work is secondary. It's absolutely top. Congratulations again to all the winners.
Thank you again. Thank you for performing this chore yet again.
We're looking forward to the next year's competition.
Absolutely.
Thank you for entrusting us with this responsibility, because we do take it seriously. For as much as we joke and have fun about it, we do take it very seriously.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
We need a motion and a second and a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, to approve that. That's right. Oh. Okay,
Well, I make a motion to approve the voting the way the commission voted for the painting presented as number 1 to be the winner, painting number 3 to be the runner-up, and number 2 to be the second runner-up. And, I would like for the commission to approve that.
I second the motion.
I think we just have to make a motion to select thumbs up as
Number
the
1,
Glendale winner.
Number 1 is the winner, number 1. Number 3 is the runner-up, and number 2 is the second runner-up. Right?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Okay. So that's the motion.
I second it.
Thank you.
Commissioners Deaver?
Yes.
Terho-Vanessian?
Yes.
Gregorian?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Chairperson Kevanyan?
Yes.
5B, reports, information only. At 1, selection of, status report regarding Maryland Park Public Art Project.
We're done.
Okay. I would like to welcome Peter Verheilig of the Community Services and Parks Department, who is the project manager for Maryland Avenue Park project, and he's here to talk about the public art element of this project. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Chairperson and Commissioners. I'm Peter Verheilig from the Community Services and Parks Department. I'm sure you've seen the staff report. I'll just summarize that the park project is located at 812 South Maryland, so that's south of Windsor, north of Garfield. It's approximately behind the BMW dealer, which is on brand. And it's about a half acre. And we actually held 16 community meetings to develop the design for this park and to decide on the components. And there are a lot of elements in this park. And included in that are 3 art elements, 2 of which are already underway, which is the main gates and fence for the project will be designed and created by Brett Goldstone, who did the river gates along the LA River. And we have an artist, Robin Indar of Reading, and she is creating the play structures for the children, which will take from the agrarian theme of the Tropico district down there. So there will be climbable strawberries and the vines and leaves and such. as I said in the report. And lastly, the component I'm relying on RIPSMA's assistance with will be to engage an artist to create a community art piece that uses that incorporates the artwork of the community, the school children, especially from Horace Mann Elementary. They were integral to the design of the park. And while in the report I mentioned a precast planter that would receive the artwork, we met with the consultants just the other day and felt that it would enhance that community artwork if we stretched it throughout the main organizing spine of the park. So what we're anticipating is wrapping the upper portion of the two entry columns with some material that could be mosaic tile or it could be something else. We'll discuss that with the artist. And the main organizing spine is an undulating wall that serves as a bridge, and it creates an axis through the park. And along that are these raised precast concrete panels that we actually increase the size to approximately 5 feet tall and 30 inches wide. And the idea we have is to have the artist working with the school children to wrap these columns in some kind of artwork, whether it's mosaic tile or some other medium that we can decide on with the help of a committee that RIPSMA is organizing. So that's right now we are in plan check for the rest of the park elements, and we anticipate construction beginning in the springtime and would like to finish the park by the fall. So I'm here to entertain any questions if you like.
I would like to add a few more things. Since we are going to have two public art projects at the same time, one is the Griffith Manor public art element and the Maryland Avenue Park element, we would like to continue with the same art advisory committee which was elected by the commission last year. So in the future, if we have another project, we will come back to the commission for a new group of art advisory members. Was there anything else we wanted to share? The meeting we are most probably going to call in next week or early by the end of February.
As soon as we can get that many folks to agree on a schedule, on a date.
So the art advisory member at this time is Commissioner Arlette Terhovanesyan.
My pleasure. Very exciting to see all the wonderful work that Parks and Rec does and the way we try to beautify our community and involve and include with the school district and etc. I'm honored to see what they're doing.
I think it's exciting too. I only wish when I was a child there was a way to contribute to the construction of a new park, to create a sense of ownership. So that's what we're trying to do.
Is it possible for us to get a rendering?
When it gets that far.
Okay. Just so we can see what we're visually.
Okay. At this point, we have an approved a plan view. Master plan of the park itself, but nothing of the art itself at this point.
We are in the process of identifying the locations of the possible public art at this point, and we're planning to use the same pre-qualified list of the artists we created during the Maple Park project. So this will be a shorter process, and we will come back to the commission once we have formed the first phase of the process. We will, if we have the dates of the meetings, site visits, and the potential artists for this project.
Commissioner Deaver?
I just want to say that I'm very pleased that the city's making, and the Parks Department is making this possible to be able to working with artists and to have arts in our parks. I think it speaks highly of the city to be able to offer that to its residents and the community outreach component of that and the community involvement in that as well. And just commend you on all of that. Yes.
We appreciate that, and I'm thrilled that this is continuing. We've had art pieces in 3 of my last mini parks since I've joined the city, and And it's exciting. And we included a piece at the Pacific Park pool that you may have been able to see, the mosaic tile in the pool deck. And I love to include that in each of the projects. So thank you.
As Commissioner Deaver said, so in the future, the children of today, tomorrow, they won't regret that their city did not offer such an opportunity.
Right.
So we are glad to be able to have a city that offers this to our youngsters and to the artists and the community.
Good. Well, thank you.
We're all very thankful and very excited to see what's going to come out of these projects, and we appreciate your work and also Commissioner Deravaneson's hard work.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Next item, please.
Status report regarding art organizations roundtable discussion meeting.
Okay, the purpose of this report is to give you a status update about the Arts Organizations Roundtable Discussion meeting, which will take place on Monday, February 27, from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Adult Recreation Center. We anticipate that the meeting will take about 2 hours. However, a mixer is being scheduled to take place at 6:30 p.m. During that time, we will also have an information desk available for the attending art organizations for the networking purposes. We have finalized the art organizations list, and the first official invite was sent out. We have identified about 64 art organizations in the city right now. However, some of the emails bounced back, so we need to do follow-up phone calls, and we will be resending the emails again, since we have only like 7 to 8 working days until this roundtable discussion meeting on February 27. As it was stated in the report, staff would like to know which section of the agenda each of you would be interested in facilitating, since the roundtable discussion meeting is going to be hosted and facilitated by the Arts and Culture Commission. We would like to have a planned, effective meeting on that day, so it is important for us to program and be aware of every section of this meeting that will be programmed for that day. So if you have any questions, or if you already have an idea how you would like to contribute to this meeting, please let the staff know.
Are you looking for us to respond to that specifically now, or to get back to you at a later time?
Well, it's up to you. If you're not ready to do it now, you're welcome to send me emails, and we will work on that to make sure that we know exactly who does what on that day.
And is there anything in here that's pre-assigned at this point? I'm certain the introduction is being done by staff and such.
The only thing I can tell you for sure, I know that welcoming section with the introductions will be done by the director of the Community Services and Parks Department, where he will be also introducing the commissioners and the staff. Format and objectives of the meeting, the role of the Arts and Culture Commission, the work plan, we believe it should be presented by one of the commissioners, or perhaps it can be shared by 2 commissioners. Then discussion topics, our director, Jess Duran, loves to take the notes, and he volunteered to take part in that section. Then it will be more questions and final comments. I think it is important for every one of you take some sort of part by talking about our projects, by introducing our commission's work plan for 2012, and then one of you could talk about the role and responsibilities of the commission. This way, this will be an opportunity for the commission to introduce the art organizations who are not aware of or closely attached to our meetings and need this opportunity to learn more about the commission in the city.
I will be happy to email you with my thoughts on it as well, and I would certainly be happy to be involved in any portion of this that would be helpful to you. I would be interested in particular either in partnership or however that may fall out with regard to the commission's roles and our work plans.
Okay. Then as soon as we have the final plan for the meeting, we'll go ahead and make a copy or send you a copy of it prior to the meeting. I have been getting already some RSVPs for the meeting. Today, there was a question about if the organization can bring a presentation materials and do a presentation. At this point, it's hard to say since we have 64 organizations. Hopefully they will all show up, but there is no way for us to allow everyone to do a presentation. However, if we have only few organizations and they have something important to share with the commission, then it will be, that decision will be made when we go towards that area.
Direction.
Yes.
Do we have an estimate of how many are participating?
Not at this time. We know for sure the list was 64 organizations who were invited to this meeting. About 10 or 12 emails came back. So we will try to find their phone or another contact information. Unless they have moved out of Glendale, then we won't be able to get these organizations involved with the meeting.
Mrs. Marashan, by the way, we don't have individual artists. It's only
this is only for the organizations, art organizations.
My next question is that last time when we were discussing this topic, Mr. Duran and the rest who were here, we were talking about the fact that for each of the topics there would be an easel, and then people would write on that, and then the idea would be collected. So it's not as much as a communication of the artists at large, but within each group that people are going to get, they're going to put their input, and then later on the idea would be all put together and presented, which basically that's for when there are lots of people and different ideas. The best organized way, as I mentioned also, that district does that usually for different activities with different communities that they do. So is there a change, or is it going to be people would stand and present like different organizations, or is it still with the idea of these?
I think that's the idea that we are leaning towards, but it's still hard to say since we don't know exactly how many organizations will show up.
With the library also, because when they do that, they did with the posters and on the thing they wrote, but it could be done with posters or easels. But it helps a lot because that way, even though there were such a large crowd, it's still refined. Now, if there are more people, it would facilitate the way it is done. If it is less crowd, people would have more to say within each group, and more ideas could be jotted down. So I still do believe that regardless of how many people participate, how many organizations, that would make it faster, easier, and more kind of everybody's idea would be projected without anybody getting anybody else's time during the event.
If I may, just in thoughts about that, I agree that if there's a tremendous number of those involved, that having a charrette process, which is essentially what was completed at the library, which is typically surrounded around a particular type of idea or goal, typically those processes, I think the one at the library in particular, and in this format, I'm expecting that if we have fewer organizations involved and that it can be moderated in such a way that people feel an opportunity to discuss verbally, that being able to write up those comments, everybody can see it, and it can help them remember what's been talked about and help them to think about other ideas that they might want to add to that. So that's part of that public process, as opposed to a charrette process, which is what the library, where you break into groups and you discuss amongst yourselves a particular idea that's been suggested through a moderator, and then that it goes into a bigger discussion or goes into a final report.
Well, it could be done in different ways, but even if there are less people there and there are 3 major areas that people are going to comment, it doesn't mean that when a person gets into group 1, stays in group 1, you come and mention whatever you want in group 1 and it would be on the group 1 area, and then the group 2 and group 3. So people could rotate within all the groups, and that way ideas that within each category would be much more refined, and it's easier to discuss because it would be clear in which topic how everybody has to express themselves without jamming the place or crowding the ideas. This way the ideas would be already disseminated into the categories that they are. But it is, whichever way would be fine. I know that you like the idea very much, so you can go ahead and whichever way. But I do believe that if we put it in different areas and categorize it, it's much easier to discuss and later on to know what's happening.
Thank you, Commissioner Darhavanesian. Commission. I think, again, that is a great idea if we have a lot of participants and we don't feel like we would be able to get best feedback from the participants and or people will not get fair chance to voice their opinion or ideas or challenges or policies or programs or whatever it is that they'd like to comment on. But the idea was kind of hopefully to be able to keep everyone in the same room, if possible, in one place. And so if somebody has one idea, it could, trigger an idea by somebody else, or they'll think about that and say, that is something that we do, or that is the same challenge, and they'll be able to share their point of view. So if we will be able to, or if we feel by the number of participants that we will be able to keep them all in one room and still be able to have an effective meeting, I think the goal is to try to keep it in one group. But again, if all six...
Sorry, the idea is all in, they are in the same room. It's just there are different
right.
parts
I
of
mean,
the room.
same room, same conversation. But if we feel that it will not be successful, or if there is all 64 do show up and we feel like we're not going to be able to get the best feedback, then we may try to break it up. But I think that decision might be made closer to the date of when we know the number of people that have RSVP. So we will definitely keep that in mind and make that decision at that time.
Yeah, if I may add as well, in our subcommittee meetings, what we had discussed were all the different possibilities, and I made sure that, Commissioner Darhavanesian and I are both big fans of the way that it was done at the Glendale Public Library, and so I made sure that all the options were explored. So I think Commissioner Deaver can attest to that. It was not a short meeting, because we want to make sure that we do get our goal accomplished, and I think that we have to wait until kind of the 11th, 13th, 14th, maybe 15th hour to make that final decision as to how the meeting is going to be run. So, and until then, we can talk all day and night about how it should be run, but we won't know until how many people are.
And I think the part that probably will require commission, whoever would be responsible, is probably the roles and responsibilities. The rest are just questions, and depending on the feedback you get from your audience, you just kind of facilitate the meeting. So the good thing is it wouldn't need a whole lot of preparation beforehand other than the roles and responsibilities. So I think maybe that makes it a little easier to make that decision closer to the end. So.
I agree with you. You're right. So hopefully when we get the number of people who are going to participate, organizations that are going to participate, it would be easier to make a decision in that direction.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
And I have to say that staff is completely prepared to make that decision. There was, again, a lot of discussion in our subcommittee meeting. Okay. Next item, please.
Item 6, Commission and Staff Comments.
Okay, before we get things started, I have to warn that we do sometimes talk a little bit too much about the topics that we love. So just, a little hint to my colleagues, all of you, and of course myself. So,
okay.
First comments, Commissioner Lee.
Your mic.
I'll make it short and simple. The Chinese American Museum is putting on their 11th annual Lantern Festival. Lantern festivals are related to Chinese New Year. Normally it occurs on the 15th day after the Chinese New Year, or the Lunar New Year. But the museum's doing it a little bit past, which is okay. It will be on Saturday, March the 3rd, from 12 noon to 7 p.m. In Elvira Street. It's free admission for anybody that wants to come. You can go online to www.camla.org and look up the Lantern Festival, and you can get information on the festival itself. So please come out. Fun, food, stage show, and I'll be running the sound system. So, come by and say hi. Thank you.
Commissioner Dravanasan?
Well, I would like to announce that for the annual commemorative events, this year, the Man's in Humanity to Man event is sponsoring a short film competition. And the competition is going to be in different categories. The presentations, it should be videos or films produced by youngsters in the community, from high school to colleges. This includes people who go to school in Glendale or who work in Glendale or reside in Glendale and go to other universities and colleges and schools. And the topic is basically talking about the man's inhumanity to man in the categories of mass killing and genocides, slavery and sexual trafficking and exploitations of men, women, and children, and body organ trade. Now, and there is also a mission and an expression of hope, but later on the flyer is going to be distributed all over the town and in different organizations. And as a matter of fact, today I'm meeting with the superintendent of Glendale Unified School District to see how he would like to include our youngsters in this special event. It's going to be something in the category of having a premiere on the 26th, which is the special day at the Central Library, which more information in detail will come out. And the three winners of this competition, they are going to get awards. There's timeline and deadline, which I'm not going to get into because I would wait for the flyer. And then there are some legalities also, which is also taken care of as far as any kind of artwork which is being presented to the city for decision making. It has to go through the process. Every paperwork is already done, but the flyer would be out. Just wanted to let you guys know, and ask the big committee of the commemorative events to know that there are going to be two steps into deciding, or the jury kind of a thing of the films that are going to be presented. And Art and Culture Commission definitely would be, I don't know, in the first category or in the second category, who would advise and decide or participate in that part of the deal, because we are the advisory body as whatever goes with the cultural and art events in the city. So we will be included in that way with whatever is going on. So there's going to be an art competition, 15 minutes the longest, the maximum time, and the topics, which when you get the flyers, if you're interested, it's going to go to the school district, all the different community organizations, and etc. pretty soon. So just wanted to give a heads up before it starts.
Thank you. Commissioner Gregorian, Commissioner Deaver, have a comment?
Okay. Do you mind if I go? Okay. Last meeting, there was a presentation here by Glendale Youth Alliance Executive Director, Ms. Karina Gregorian, about the upcoming Youth Alliance Art Exhibit fundraiser. And my colleagues might recall that I committed myself to help them and get some artwork and some art galleries and some artists to participate. I had a very fruitful meeting with this very pleasant lady, Ms. Karina Gregorian, no relation to me, about the event. And I have already spoken to several art galleries and local artists, and most of them are very interested in donating artwork to this event. One of them has already committed. The Magurchian Art Gallery has already committed to donate some artwork. And I'm very pleased. I think they already have gathered some commitment by other artists. Almost more than 20 works of art are going to be exhibited as of today, but I'm very much hoping that it will be much more than that. Just a reminder that the exhibit will be on March 21st from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Alex Theater. This is to benefit the Glendale Youth Alliance, which is a very worthy organization with ties to the city of Glendale, but they are an independent 501c3 organization, I believe. And most probably the donations will be tax exempt, but I would highly recommend that donors to check with their accountants to make sure that that's the case. And there will be a fun event ticket for $25 for entry for one, or if there is a couple, an entry for $45. This is only for people who would not donate anything to this exhibition. And again, March 21st between 5:30 and 8 p.m. I highly recommend our community to support this very worthy organization and this very worthy exhibition. And then, again, we had a presentation here from the Armenia School Foundation about an upcoming art exhibition for this coming Sunday, February 19th, from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Los Angeles Armenian Society of Los Angeles, located 117 South Louis Street in Glendale. That's also a very worthy cause, fundraising for a charitable organization. And participating more than 12 internationally known and award-winning artists in that exhibition, so highly recommended. Then there is this Saturday, March 31st, the block party for the Hoover and Mark Keppel and Tall high schools. There is an art exhibition and all kinds of partying there on Glenwood Road. This is admission is $2 per person, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, March 31st. Please don't forget that. Two more very worthy, again, community work. And these are just the highlights. I mean, our community is very active and very rich in all kinds of activities. So I'm just, the ones that I'm mentioning doesn't mean that there are no other events, but these are the ones that came to my attention. And then the Glendale Public Library Friends of Library has two outstanding authors presenting their books. One is today, 7 p.m., Dennis Hamilton presenting her new novel, Damage Control, and Wednesday, February 22nd, again 7 p.m., Stephen Ross presenting his work, Hollywood Left and Right. This, I think, is going to be a very interesting subject.
Mr. Gregorian, if I may, can we from now on, and I kind of want to make this a general rule, if we're going to be talking about events, not to go over the events that have already been presented, because those are all going to end up in our minutes, and it's going to be available to the public anyway.
Yeah. That was a reminder, so I thank you for the reminder. And the other two that I wanted to talk about were presented, so I will just end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Deaver?
I just want to say that I had attended the opening of the Brand Associates Purchasing Power exhibit, which is still on through March 3rd. This will be their final exhibition at the Brand Library Gallery until the renovation is complete at that library. And it gives a really great look into the history of the juried works through their international competition that they have, the juried competition, and it's well worth people taking a look at before that closes on the 3rd.
And I have several comments to make. Lately, a lot of my friends, unfortunately, have been dealing with death in their lives, and in Glendale specifically, we had a death to our arts family. Zena Bethune, if you've been reading Glendale News Press or any major source of news, you probably heard that she has passed away. And I got to work with her when she was trying to start a school here in Glendale, and she did a lot of fantastic work, especially with handicapped children, which was extremely touching. And her presentation at GCC at Glendale Community College was amazing. I'm kind of at a loss of words. Commissioner Deaver, would you like to add anything?
Certainly, the condolences go out to her and family and all of the students and people in the dance world and the art community that were touched by her. She has an extensive background as a professional dancer, which is quite historic, and having danced with the Balanchine dance company, I believe, Balanchine, and with appearances in notable film works over the years, and then certainly her work with youth and those with disabilities. And I know that just from my friends in the dance community, it's on Facebook, it's out there. People are very stricken by the loss of her in this community and what she's done through her life, and certainly with the dance of the Theater Bethune that she has founded.
Is there going to be a special day or special event in her memory, because she has done a phenomenal job, and she has come and presented several times for us in the Art and Culture Commission?
I believe if you go to the website for Theater Bethune, and I don't know the actual URL for that, but if you search that and go to their website, they have noted that there will be something. I don't believe a date. This happened just this week. But I would go to that website and find out when that will be held.
And actually, I would like to adjourn our meeting in her memory, if my colleagues would allow me to.
That's an excellent idea.
Okay. With that said, our meeting is adjourned in the memory of Zina Bethune.
Written communications.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that item. Next item, please.
Item 7, written communications, and there are none.
Okay. So I'd like to adjourn in the memory of Zina Bethune. Thank you.
Thank you.